Good evening, live from this news center of the Sultanate of Oman television. Here we present to you tonight's news bulletin. First, the headlines. Before His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq, His Excellency, the Chairman of the Oman Investment Authority, takes the oath at Al Baraka Palace. His Excellency, the Minister of Health, announces at the 10th press conference of the COVID-19 Supreme Committee that the Wilaya of Duqm is added to the lockdown tourism sites starting from Saturday. His Excellency, the Minister of Transport, stresses that all protocol requirements to operate the airport are completed, but the aviation movement has been postponed. And the Ministry of Health announces 1,067 new confirmed cases of COVID-19. Good evening once again, and thank you for joining us. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. Before His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq, His Excellency Abdus Salam bin Mohammed bin Abdullah Al Murshidi, Chairman of the Oman Investment Authority, took the oath at Al Baraka Palace this morning. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq has sent a cabal of greetings to His Excellency President Vladimir Putin of Russia on the Sovereignty Declaration Day. His Majesty the Sultan also sends a cabal of greetings to His Excellency President Rodrigo Duterte of the Philippines on his country's independence anniversary. His Excellency Dr. Ahmed bin Mohammed Al Saidi, Minister of Health, announced during the 10th press conference of the Supreme Committee of COVID-19 that the Wilaya of Duqm has been added to the list of lockdown areas that include tourism sites effective from next Saturday until 3rd of July. His Excellency pointed out that the commercial activities that we are allowed to resume their businesses will remain open as long as the guidelines and requirements are observed. However, non-compliance may push the committee to cancel their decisions to protect everyone's health. His Excellency added that COVID-19 patients that require admission since the beginning of the pandemic reached 1,052 patients, and the currently admitted patients are around 300, including 100 patients that require intensive care. His Excellency said that the beds allocated for COVID-19 patients are 147 beds, and over 100 ex-COVID-19 patients donated their blood to produce around 300 blood plasma units, which were used to treat around 100 patients. His Excellency commended on the efforts made to follow up with over 150,000 individuals over the past 4 months, and urged the community to observe the health guidelines not only to protect the individual's health but also to minimize the burden on health workers. His Excellency said that 232 health workers were infected in their line of duty. His Excellency Dr. Ahmed bin Mohammed Al Futaisi, Minister of Transport, that all protocols and requirements to operate the airports have been completed. His Excellency pointed out that the Supreme Committee decided to postpone the resumptions of internal flights due to the lockdown of some tourism sites. He also said that there is still no regular flights in the region due to 14-day quarantine requirements for passengers and the close of air traffic in most countries. His Excellency said that the mechanisms were put in place to ease travel by land, but coordination between two countries is still needed to facilitate travel for individuals who require to travel. His Excellency Ahmed bin Nasser Al Mherzi, Minister of Tourism, stated that a decision was made in coordination with the Minister of Finance to defer the 4% tourism fees on tourism establishments at the first quarter of the next year. His Excellency pointed out that due to the pandemic, some tourists could not use their visas, and the Minister of Finance, in coordination with Royal Oman Police, decided to allow them to replace their visas issued during the period between 1st to March of 2020 and 31st of August 2020. The tourists can exchange their visas until 31st of March 2021. His Excellency Dr. Ahmed bin Mohsen Al Ghassani, chairman of the Far municipality, said that the situation during the 3-week lockdown of Governorate of the Far will be assessed to determine if there is a need to take new measures as per the result of the pandemic spread. His Excellency pointed out that the Supreme Committee is continually observing the situation in the Governorate of the Far and study any proposals made by the municipality. Dr. Saif bin Salim Al-Abri, Director General of Diseases Combat and Surveillance at the Ministry of Health, clarified that more neighborhoods in the Wilaya of Matrah will be opened and some commercial activities will be allowed from the upcoming Sunday. He added that Matrah Souq and Wadi Al-Kabir area, including parts of Al-Hamriya, will remain under lockdown. The Ministry of Health announced 1,067 new confirmed cases of COVID-19, which brings the total number registered in the Sultanate to 19,954. The Ministry said that it has recorded 5 deaths today, which brings the total number of COVID-19 fatalities in the Sultanate to 89. Meanwhile, the Ministry announced 983 new recoveries from COVID-19, which brings the total number of recoveries to 6,623. Within the efforts to limit the spread of COVID-19, the Ministry advises all citizens and residents to keep on washing hands with water and soap. Avoid touching the face, nose, mouth and eyes. Follow hygienic habits when coughing and sneezing. Adhere strictly to social distancing instructions. Stay at home and not to go out unless absolutely necessary. Adhering to isolation and social distancing will prevent you, your family, and the community from COVID-19. Stay safe. Still to come in our news bulletin, around 130 countries are benefited from services provided by Oman Dry Dock Company in the Special Economic Zone at Duqm.
Non-compliance with the directives of the Supreme Committee dealing with coronavirus COVID-19 exposes you to risk and legal action. Stay safe.
Of course, stay safe from legal action and stay safe from pandemic. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. German Chancellor Angela Merkel discussed the impact of the coronavirus pandemic with Chinese Premier Li Kenqiang via video conference today. Li Kenqiang said that while the pandemic has impacted trade relations and exchanges between the two countries, cooperation relations continue to develop. Li said that the two countries should work together to resume economic activity and promote multilateralism to protect global trade and investment. Merkel said that she welcomed China's continued opening up and that Germany wished to continue cooperation with China in many fields. She added that she hoped to speed up the signing of an European Union-China investment agreement, which has been under negotiation since 2013. The Tivoli Gardens in Copenhagen was opened after 2.5 months of closure due to the coronavirus. The iconic Tivoli Youth Guards are back playing for guests as they walk around the 177-year-old amusement park, which is also the world's second oldest. One creative solution to ensure social distancing is maintained: the use of teddy bears on every other bench on the world's oldest roller coaster in order to space out thrill seekers. Meanwhile, staff are obliged to wear plastic visor. Trivoli has also developed what they say is the world's first amusement park entry app in order to ensure there are no queues or hotspots of visitors. Trivoli has 32 rides altogether, and visitors seem happy to try them with the new app system. Trivoli normally welcomes over 5 million visitors and a year. The record for visitors inside Trivoli was set during World War II when 112,802 people visited in one day in 1943. Normally, Trivoli limits capacity to 34,000, but under the current restrictions, that is down to 8,200. As torrential rains that caused flooding in China are coming to an end, residents and government workers are sweeping away water, clearing debris and pumping parks and fields to clean up the damage caused by the floods. Flooding in south and central China since June 2nd caused more than a dozen deaths and forced hundreds of thousands of people from their homes. About 228,000 people have been forced to seek emergency shelter due to flooding. Initial damages were estimated at over $500 million, including the destruction of more than 1,000 homes. Seasonal flooding generally causes heavy damage each year in the lower regions of China's major river systems, particularly those of the Yangtze and the Pearl or the South. Authorities have sought to mitigate the hardship through the use of dams, particularly the massive three gorges structure on the Yangtze. China's worst floods in recent years were 1998, when more than 2,000 people died and almost 3 million homes were destroyed. Around 130 countries benefits from services provided by the Oman Dry Dock Company in Special Economic Zone at Duqm. During 2019, the company worked on the maintenance of 156 commercial and tourism ships. Since the start of the operations of the company back in 2011 and until present day, it has received more than 850 ships. The company aims to receive 100 ships annually by 2021. The National Diabetes and Endocrine Center has taken several measures to prevent patients from COVID-19. More details in the following report. Due to the pandemic conditions of the coronavirus, the healthcare institutions have changed the way of reaching their patients. The precautionary measures is raised to ensure continuity in providing treatment on the one hand and to minimize the number of patients coming to the institutions on the other hand, in order to reduce the transmitting of infections. The National Diabetes and Endocrine Center has taken several measures, including postponing regular appointments for patients whose medical records appear stable in their health condition and redispensing treatment to new periods for patients whose appointments have been postponed.
Patient risk of getting very sick from COVID-19 likely to be lower risk if the disease will manage. How to manage the disease? How? By controlling blood sugar levels. To control blood sugar levels, he has to follow a few steps. First step is monitor blood sugar levels closely, reduce carbohydrate intake, maintain healthy weight, regular exercise, proper hydration, manage stress, get enough sleep, and stick with treatment plan.
Diabetic patients can become very sick if they become infected with COVID-19, and to reduce their risk, they should control their diabetes. And there are following some steps to control their diabetes. First of all, they should stick to their treatment plan. They should control their diabetes with frequent blood sugar monitoring. And they should increase hydration and eat healthy low-carb diet and even they can do some physical activity at home. And if they become sick, they should seek help from their nearby health institute.
The center has a large segments of patients suffering from diabetes, so the center works hard to communicate with these patients to ensure their safety and adherence to the instructions to prevent from COVID-19 and ensure the continuity of medicines with them and the stability of their blood sugar level.
Diabetes education provided by medical team and diabetes educator can help people with diabetes better manage their blood glucose, develop coping skills, and address the daily challenges and disease, and reduce the risk of complications. Finally, stay safe, stay cautious.
The medical staff continues to follow the level of diabetes control for patients through the phone method, as the patient sends daily sugar level readings according to the agreed schedule, and the nursing team, in coordination with doctors, informs the patients of the required changes in his treatment plan and how he deals with the small changes at his home without the need to visit the center. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. Before His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq, His Excellency the Chairman of the Oman Investment Authority takes the oath at Baraka Palace. His Excellency the Minister of Health announces at the 10th press conference of the COVID-19 Supreme Committee that the Wilaya of Duqm is added to the lockdown tourism site starting from Saturday. His Excellency the Minister of Transport stresses that all protocol requirements to operate the airports are completed, but the aviation movement has been postponed. And the Minister of Health announces 1,067 new confirmed cases of COVID-19. And with that, we do conclude this news bulletin, brought to you live from this news center of the Sultanate of Oman television. Stay safe at home. Good night.